Good afternoon to our faculty, students, staff, and guests. I am Camille Jimenez, Research Assistant from the Faculty of Management and Development Studies, or FMDS, and I will be your host for this afternoon. Are you a fresh graduate currently applying for work? A professional gearing up for a new job? Or are you looking for better work opportunities? Then this webinar is perfect for you. On behalf of the FMDS and the professionals uplifting the neighborhood of Los Baños Alliance or Punla, I would like to welcome you to the webinar on career advancement. This afternoon, our invited speakers will be sharing with us the best practices and tips on building our resumes and preparing us to a new level of job search and career advancement. To formally start this webinar, let's welcome the Dean of the FNDS UP Open University, Prof. Joanne V. Serrano, for her opening remarks.
Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Mga nandito sa AVR in person attending the seminar webinar, and to all those who are joining us via Zoom and via Facebook and YouTube. So maraming salamat for attending this webinar on career advancement. So this is actually a collaborative event activity with by the Faculty of Management Development Studies with the PUNLA. PUNLA is Professionals Uplifting the Neighborhood of Los Baños Alliance. Okay, just a quick context why we are having this career advancement. UPOU recently had its graduation. So unlike other universities and other constituent unit of the UP system, UPOU conducts its commencement exercises almost towards the end of the year because we actually have 3 semesters. So we have to wait for our students who are graduating mid-year or midterm. But this event is not just for UPOU students. This is actually open to everyone, to the public, who are interested to advance their careers. So I am actually very happy that our youth from Los Baños, our students online, our young researchers are here because this is a good opportunity for them to learn how to advance their career. So our invited speakers will be giving out practical tips and strategies on how to boost yourself. Not to leave UPOU, of course, but probably there's an opportunity here, an opening, mas mataas na, mas magandang oportunidad. So magandang learning opportunity for everyone. And also for our students, FMDS is actually offering graduate programs. So most of our students are really professionals, some are in their mid-level careers. This is a good opportunity for them because we have also invited representatives from the industry who will be providing us with the trends and what are the skills and competencies that they look for nowadays in their own industry. So yun lang, welcome everyone, and I hope you'll have a good time and enjoy this webinar.
Thank you, Dean Joanne, for your welcoming remarks, also for giving us some context why we are conducting this webinar. All right, so before we move to our webinar proper, we would like to remind our participants that you may message us or comment your thoughts and questions in our Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and the Zoom chat box so we can address them later. Now, let me introduce our first speaker. Our first speaker is an operations director with substantial experience in project management, sales and marketing, recruitment and training, operations management, and business development. She also has 15 years of experience in the travel and hospitality industry, working for international brands such as Royal Caribbean International, Carnival Cruise Lines, and lastminute.com. In 2012, she transitioned to working remotely, taking on leadership roles and helping establish and grow various e-commerce brands. She is representing Punla, otherwise known as Professionals Uplifting the Neighborhood of Los Baños Alliance. Our first speaker completed her Bachelor of Arts in Speech Communication and Theater Arts at the University of the Philippines, Diliman in 1999. Once again, let us welcome Ms. Irma S. Tidon.
Thank you, Camille. Oh, sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Dean, and also our students, the Zoomies, both the roomies and the Zoomies. Good afternoon. Great. Can they see my presentation? So today I'm going to talk about how to boost your confidence, build your confidence and self-esteem. Can you, okay, there it is. Fantastic. Excellent. All right. So how to land your next dream role. So overview, we're going to discuss about how to build your confidence and self-esteem for your next role. The rest will be discussed by my dear Ate Pinky, how to write a great resume, write a compelling cover letter in minutes, how to ace your next interview, and of course, there will be time for Q&A. Having a healthy amount of confidence is critical to succeeding in your search, job search, and career. Very, very important. And we're not talking about being obnoxious or being conceited, no, or egotistical. Just a healthy amount of self-confidence. What are companies looking for when hiring people, right? So obviously, they're looking for someone who's positive, motivated, confident, enthusiastic, and proactive, right? What are companies avoiding? People who come across as meek, beaten down, lacking in confidence, pessimistic, indifference. They will pass on, all right? So people might suggest to you polishing your resume or your LinkedIn profile, joining Facebook groups, that's common nowadays, right? Joining subreddits in Reddit and other online forums, or maybe, practicing your elevator pitch, right? But all of these is not enough. Not enough if you don't have confidence. Because even if you, let's say, land an interview or even get an offer letter, you may experience what people call imposter syndrome. Everybody knows what that is? Yes, you know what that is, right? So imposter syndrome is feeling like a fraud. It involves feelings of self-doubt and personal incompetence that persist despite your education, experience, and accomplishments. So you're very worthy, you just don't feel it, right? Self-doubt, self-doubt. It's the complete opposite of confidence, right? That's why it's so important, and that's why we're starting with how to build your confidence. Because without this, everything else will crumble. This is such a critical foundation. Okay, so let's start. How do you build your confidence? How do you boost your self-esteem? It sounds pretty basic, right? Okay, practice, repetition. All right, so I will be asking a few questions. All right, okay. So, sorry, what's your name?
Maru po. Maru.
Maru, thank you. What did you study in college?
BS Fisheries po.
Fisheries, thank you. What's your, where did you study high school?
Los Baños National High School, Batong Malaki.
Thank you. Where do you live?
Maasas, Baños, Laguna po.
Thank you so much. Did any of them sound nervous to you? Sorry. Did any of them sound, unsure? No, right? Did they sound confident? Yes, right? It's like that. The answer is very quick, because all of these things, you've overlearned. You've overlearned them through repetition. It's in your memory, it's built in, so it's automatic. So, and that's one of the things, no? Practice and repetition. It's like, as they say, you can do it in your sleep. You know it at the back of your hand. It's automatic. So, what you want to ask yourself most important is, what are you passionate about? What are you passionate about? What do you enjoy? What sort of job do you want to have? What kind of role, right? So if you cannot answer this confidently, you might want to set aside time and think about that, because that's very, very basic. You want your resume to show that, right? And I can assure you 99% of the time during interviews, they will ask that. So if you cannot, and that's the foundation of your elevator pitch, right? What is your passion? What is your interest? So again, overlearn, think about that. Practice. Know how to accept feedback and criticism, right? Actually, I could have put this at the last, but I put it up in number 2 because it's so, so important, extremely important. Anybody here have seen the TED Talk by Jia Jiang? It's called 100 Days of Rejection. You've seen it? Nice, right? Very nice. 21 minutes long. It's very powerful. So he had a social experiment, and he wanted to be rejected once a day for 100 days. Every day he's looking for a way to be rejected. And the idea is that if you get rejected enough, you're going to be desensitized from it. So the fear of rejection is going to go away. So on the first day, he asked I think it was a security guard, right? He went up to a security guard and said, "Can you give me $100?" And the security guard said, "No." Why? And instead of answering the guy, he just walked away. He was so embarrassed, right? So, but he got what he wanted. He got rejected. That's the experiment. You want to be rejected. So one instance, he knocked up to someone's door, and he was holding a flower, and he said, "Can I plant my flower in your back garden?" And the guy said, "No." But this time, he didn't walk away, right? Instead of running, he stayed and actually asked the guy, "Why not? Why not?" And the guy said, "Well, you see, I have a dog, and my dog loves to chew things. So if we plant it in my back garden, he's going to chew on it. It's not going to last," right? So what he learned from this experience is that it has nothing to do with him. You know, it's not personal. The guy is not saying no because of how he looks like or, who he is. It's simply because what he's offering doesn't match with what the guy wants or needs. It's not a match. It's not a fit. So think about that. If you're getting rejections, don't think that, "Oh, I'm so bad. I'm wrong. I'm a failure." It's not like that. It's simply because what you're offering doesn't align with what they're looking for. For example, you're offering customer service skills, and they actually want an accountant, right? So obviously, there's no need for you to feel down for the rest of the month thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm such a failure." So knowing this ahead of time, guys, will save you so much heartbreak, right? Because in fact, if you get a rejection letter, you can actually proactively reply saying, "Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Can I ask for some feedback? How do you think can I improve?" And it's going to be so helpful for you, right? And it actually shows professionalism. Yeah. Okay, great. Next is look good, feel good, look good. I'm sure you've heard of this, right? So if you know Tony Robbins, motivational coach, right? He mentioned a lot about posture. So if you sit up straight with your spine erect, right? There's no way for you to say, there's no way that you can stay depressed, right? Notice people who are depressed. How are they standing? Slouch or, right? Notice. So if you just, and they have studies about this, how posture has a direct effect with your mental health, with your mental well-being. So if you're sitting and you're just sitting up with your spine erect, that's bound to affect how you feel. So if you're not feeling good, try to look good, right? Put on something, put on some nice clothes, maybe put a little makeup for women or men, or change something about your appearance, and that can influence how you're gonna feel. Well, if you feel good, obviously you're gonna exude that, right? That's gonna show energetically as well. So look good, feel good, look good. There's no judgment which one comes first, right? It's deceptively simple, but trust me, it works. Very powerful. Be honest. I think this goes without saying, right? A lot of people, unfortunately, misrepresent themselves when applying. But if you want to be able to answer confidently during the interview, you want to make sure that what you put in your resume are something that's quantifiable, can be qualified and validated, right? Don't be scared to mention about, how a previous role went on, because you can always say, I made a poor decision, I wasn't performing to my best. However, what I learned is, you can always put, add the silver lining, like, it made me a stronger person. I'm so much better because of what happened. You can always find the silver lining. Know how to upsell yourself. Actually, this is quite important because for Filipinos, we have this mentality, oh, that's so boastful, I can't do that, you don't want to toot your own horn, or in our term, pagbuhat ng bangko, right? But if you're competing with hundreds, if not thousands of applicants, candidates, you have to be able to know, your strengths and sell them, confidently, without feeling that you're boasting, Learn how to organize your thoughts. So a lot of people during interviews, actually, when they get nervous, they can't articulate properly and offer cohesive answers. No, that's a trap. So you can actually practice this, because to each his own. For example, if how you organize your thoughts is through writing notes, some people use a whiteboard, some people use post-it notes. If that's how you organize your thoughts, then so be it. But definitely as part of preparation, find a way, what works for you, right? Get to know the industry. Again, goes without saying, but you'll be surprised. So before I send, an email for an interview invite, I always send them a link to the website of the company, and where they can see the product or the service, right? And during the interview, of course, you ask them, what did you think? What did you think of our products? What did you think? And they would say, oh, I actually opened the link. I didn't have time. Yeah, I was so busy. So I just quickly scanned through it. Obviously, it's an excuse, right? There is no excuse to not research about the company that you're interviewing with, right? There's no excuse. It looks like you didn't put in any effort at all. Yeah. So if somebody sends you already the links and everything, then make sure you spend that time. Be comfortable conversing and connecting. Obviously, it's very important that you can be at ease when you're conversing, because during the interview, right? So I added connecting because you really want to connect with the person interviewing you, isn't it? But again, this ties with practice, right? How can you converse effortlessly, effectively? How can you articulate your thoughts, send a message across with ease, right? Practice. You can watch TV shows. I guess nowadays it's Netflix, right? YouTube. Converse with your family, friends, and we just have to speak in language because I need to practice, right? And of course they will understand. But that's one thing. Again, like number one, overlearn. Confidence allows you to speak concisely and with clarity, so you'll become a more effective communicator. Okay, so this is a bonus part, daily confidence boosters when you're applying for jobs, and also to help you stay motivated, right? Because in this day and age, it's quite different from how many decades ago, because there's ghosting. I think before we didn't have that, right? We didn't have ghosting. But now when you apply, you can even get ghosted, right? They just simply don't respond at all. So, and of course, sometimes when you're ghosted or when you're rejected, when you get that rejection letter, it's very easy to lose self-confidence and start doubting yourself, right? So yeah, so here are some tips on how you can stay motivated. Start your day with an intention, right? So upon waking, you can say, today is a great day. I'm going to have enough energy to look for my next amazing role. Something to that effect, right? So also called affirmations, which are positive statements, which can be actually very powerful. Yeah. So today I will apply for that dream job that I've been eyeing, right? Intentional and deliberate. Next, set up a comfortable space for yourself where you can sit, relax, and apply for jobs. The environment obviously is very, very important. You don't want to be distracted left and right. You know, at home, where you probably will do this, you know, there's so many distractions. There's the TV, the couch, the fridge, right? The kids, if you have little ones at home. So you want to have a specific place just to do that. It helps in setting up a routine. Set aside social media, phones, and any other distractions that can interfere with applying. Obviously, when you're looking for jobs, you're using maybe your laptop, computer, and I know nowadays there's so many job ads on Facebook, right? You can join a Facebook group and you see a lot of job ads there. Also in other social media platforms, LinkedIn is one. However, once you already know what it is and the link, then put your phone aside because you don't want to be distracted by all those notifications, right? You want to be able to focus. And always set a goal. Tell yourself you will apply for 10 jobs today and do it. So this is just an example. Obviously, you don't need to do that, right? Just an example. It can be more, it can be less, but you want to set a goal and to track it and to stick to it. Have your resume and all other documents organized so you can easily find them. So I bet nowadays this is mostly digital, right? So it would be ideal if you have a folder, maybe in your desktop, dedicated to that. So it's just one click away. You know where it is. It's very, organized. It's not like, oh my gosh, I think I deleted the file. I can't find it, right? Or a link that you have pasted somewhere handy. Next, pause, which is very important. Give yourself some time between each application to stretch, eat, drink, go for a stroll, knit, play the piano, play the guitar, whatever hobby you have, because actually hobbies can help you, let those creative juices flow, right? So if you're feeling stuck with something or you're feeling frustrated that you're spending so much time on applying, then, give some pauses in between. Have a daily log to track your progress, what you achieved during the day for accountability. So as well, this can be digital. You can just create a Google spreadsheet and then you put columns, you put position, link where I found it, and then the contact person, and then you can put notes, I emailed on this date, right? And then notes on another column. And so you can see like midday, oh, okay, I've done 4, I need to speed it up, or, or at the end of the day, oh, wow, I reached my target, right? This is also very helpful because, trust me, when people start replying to you and you've sent in, I don't know, dozens or hundreds, you can easily lose track of who you reached out to. Trust me, we have people who are replying to us saying, I'm sorry, what is this position for again? Yes. I'm sorry, what company is this again? Yeah, right? Yeah, they lost track of, right, which roles they applied for. So it would be good to have a daily log where you're keeping all your applications in. Relax, take it easy, aim to do everything with mindfulness and be attentive to details. Make it a calm process that makes you feel good once you're done. It doesn't need to be stressful, right? So we don't need it to make it as if you are going to have a panic attack, or and most probably is a self-imposed deadline or pressure anyway. End of day, I love this. So at the end of the day, hopefully you've met your target, your goals, but list 3 good things that happened that day. Yeah. And it doesn't need to be related to the job application. Even if you didn't hear from anyone at the end of the day, anything good that happened, small or huge, because what this does, it, apart from helping you become more grateful, it helps you to focus on positive things, right? Helps you to stay positive. Remember, that's what companies are looking for. Somebody who's positive. Remember that you are special, unique, and awesome in your own way. Because you truly are. Each of us, to each his own, you have something to offer. All right? And that is it. That is my short presentation. I hope it was helpful, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Irma, for a very inspiring and motivating presentation. Ay, sorry. All right. Okay. Again, thank you, Miss Irma, for a very inspiring and motivating presentation. I'm sure everyone tried correcting their postures after this. All right. Indeed, practicing mindfulness and building confidence is key in keeping yourself together. Moving forward, the second presentation is prepared by Ms. Renee Lorica and Ms. Pinky Halos, who are also representing Punla. Without further ado, allow me to introduce our second speaker. Our second speaker is an entrepreneur who has established, operated, and managed successful businesses for 7 years, with strong professional development, people, and networking skills. She gained all this knowledge and experiences from working as a professional development manager or project staffing manager for highly sought-after strategy and management consulting firms with global operations, namely McKinsey & Company and Accenture, for more than a decade. She was also part of the core team of the first business process outsourcing or BPO venture in the Philippines. The success of the said project paved the way for the avalanche of other BPO opportunities in the country that were considered as one of the two primary legs of the Philippine economy. She is also currently working on a project with the University of the Philippines Open University as a business course consultant, writer, and editor. Our second speaker completed her Bachelor of Arts in Mass Communication, major in journalism degree at the University of the Philippines Diliman campus in 1993. Once again, let us welcome our second speaker, Ms. Pinky P. Halos.
Thank you, Camille. Thank you, Camille. And good afternoon, everybody. Okay, so hold on. Okay. So I'll be actually just reinforcing what Irma has already presented. No, so it's just a little bit more detailed. So we'll go into the details of CV or resume writing and a little bit more details on acing your job interviews. So okay, so this just hilariously illustrates how important a well-written CV or resume is. No? So as you can see, due to bad grammar, instead of Piggy getting served a job offer, she was the one served and became bacon. So bad grammar kills, no? Okay, so first things first, before we even write our CV or resume, we need to think through our plans in maybe the next 5 years. What do you want to do? What are we passionate about? So before writing our CV, I really encourage everybody to do this exercise. And I will tell you why later, why it's important. So first, what is your job target? What job position do you really want to do? Or you think you will enjoy doing at least, for the next 1 to 3 years, no? And then, so an example of this is probably to obtain a position of at least a supervisor, a manager, or a manager for an IT company, no, an international IT company, IT and management consulting company like Accenture, no, or maybe a data architect or a program architect for an IT and a multinational company, something like that. So those things, and then next is location. Where do you want to work, and how far are you willing to travel every day? So, do you want to just work from home? Do you want a flexible working arrangement? Do you want a hybrid, a type of working arrangement? Or if you really, really want the job, and if you really, really want the company, is traveling, let's say, from Los Baños to Makati every day is something you are willing to bear or to do, no? Because you really want to work for that company, okay? Because I know a number of people who are residing here in Los Baños and they travel to Makati or Alabang every day to work. And then compensation and benefits. So set your minimum salary. No, what's the minimum salary you're aiming for, and then also think of what salary and benefits you will be happy with. So an example is, let's say, based on your lifestyle, I'll set a minimum salary of, let's say, 38,000, and then maybe I'll be very happy with 50,000, with a benefit of, let's say, an additional health an HMO plan on top of the mandatory PhilHealth, things like that. And then company and employer, what industry, are the values they espouse matter to you? Do they have to share the same values as you do? So an example is, what kind? Do you want to work for the government, an NGO, a multinational company, an agricultural company? And then for values, do they practice minimum safety protocols? Do they encourage people to further their studies? Do they provide training because they want their people to continuously improve while they're still working for them? And then for the job, is there an opportunity for advancement, training, further study, or travel? For advancement, do you have an opportunity to get promoted? Or ito ba yung tipo ng company na hihintayin mong mag-resign yung kasunod mo para ma-promote ka, no? Because you've set a target for yourself na maybe after 2 years you want to get promoted, you want a salary raise, ganon, no? So those things. And then for the boss, is the boss competent and someone you can respect and learn from? Is he or she the type who mentors, who love to mentor his or her subordinates? And then for environment, like what I said, do they follow minimum safety protocol or the industry standards? And what is their culture? So for the industry standards, for example, you're going to work for let's say, a multinational, a manufacturing company. Do they provide mga safety gadgets that you need while performing the job? like for example, if you're an engineer or you are a chemist, you're handling, toxic substances. Do they provide you with all you need so you get protected while performing your job? Okay. Right. Next. Oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So after doing that, make your wish list. So make your list of your top 50 companies, no? So what we just did is that we determined our non-negotiables, no? We determined our non-negotiables and criteria. So based on that, make your list of your top 50 companies, check for their job postings, do some research, consult with your contacts from your network. For example, you listed UP Open University. If you know someone there, interview the person. Try to see what it's like to work for UPOU, or if you wanna aim for, let's say, to work for an IT and management company like Accenture, if you know someone there, talk to them. Ask questions, so that you have a better feel of whether that's a company you want to work for. And then after that, that's the only time you will make your CV and application letter based on the data you gathered. Then send your resume and your cover letter. My suggestion is 10 at a time with some maybe 1 or 2 day interval, or make sure you don't miss their deadline for submission. Then repeat the process. Why am I suggesting this? It's because I've heard so many stories already from friends, from students who consulted me, that they sent hundreds and hundreds of application letters and their CVs to hundreds of companies without doing this exercise. So sinend nila sabay-sabay. Ngayon, dahil sabay-sabay, hundreds of those, so unfortunately, those companies that are probably in their bottom list responded sooner than those that's in their top list. And then because they were pressured to make a decision, they decided to accept the offer, the first or the second offer. They decided to accept it. And then a few days later, their dream company, their dream job, makes a call and schedules them for interview, ganyan. Yung iba nga, as in na-interview na sila, ganun. Parang hindi lang nila nahintay yung iba pang interview at saka yung job offer, kasi na-pressure na sila to accept yung offer nitong isang to. And then they accepted it, and then I heard a story where kahit inaccept niya na yung offer at meron na siyang start date, dahil nakuha niya yung offer ng mas gusto niyang company, tinawagan niya yung nauna niyang tinanguan, and then sinabi niya na hindi na siya tutuloy. So so you get blacklisted, no? Iba-blacklist ka ng company na yun. Why? Because you wasted their time. And then recruiting is a very expensive process in a company. So they really invest they spend a lot of money in recruiting. And then when you get offered, and then when they have already rejected the other applicants, sasabihin mo hindi ka tutuloy. Diba? So that's a no-no. So maba-blacklist ka doon sa company. They won't tell you that to your face, but you will never get. If you apply again for the company, most likely you will not get in. Okay? And yun din yung iniiwasan natin, yung sinabi ni Irma kanina, no? Of, getting into that embarrassing call where they will call you and you can't even remember sending an application to that company like, what company po again? Ganon, no? So, ibig sabihin, hindi ka talaga interesado sa kanila kasi you can't even remember, di ba? So yun. So, yun yung mga iniiwasan natin. Okay? And then, okay. So now, after you're done with that, doing that exercise. So, after the first 50, wala kayong masyadong nakuha ano, then go to your next 50. Let's just repeat the process. Repeat the process, no? And then, so after that, eto na. Dito na tayo sa exciting part. So you can land an interview, no? So CV or resume. Okay. Hold on. A CV or resume is basically an accomplishment report. So when you're writing your CV or resume, you should be achievement-oriented. And then moreover, the 3 Ds of a good resume should be reflected in your resume, no? Or CV. So ano yung 3 Ds of a good resume? According to Mind Manners. Your desire, your direction, and discipline. So dapat reflected yun sa CV ninyo. And then, why do you need to write a good CV? Getting hired is the ultimate goal. But to even get to that point, you need to land yourself an interview first, di ba? So yun muna yung short-term goal natin, land yourself an interview. But, so, which one do you need to write in the first place? Is it a CV or resume? And what's the difference ba? Meron bang difference? Okay, so the term CV is an abbreviation of the Latin word curriculum vitae, which is literally translated to the course of your life. No? So CVs are used to actually apply for positions, academic positions, graduate school programs, some government positions, and resumes are basically used to apply for all other jobs. And as you can see, no, a curriculum vitae is lengthy. It's basically your academic diary, no? So it has a complete timeline of all your research and professional experience, the academe, which includes your presentations in conferences, Philippine government involvement, NGOs, IGOs. And then for resume, your resume should just be succinct. It only highlights your most relevant accomplishment to the job you're applying for. And then, and it should align with the industry that you're applying for. Okay. Okay, so a comprehensive CV basically has all this information, no? Name and contact information, overview of your education, employment history, research projects, departmental community service, transferable skills. Transferable skills include hard and soft skills. So yung project management, being a team player, like that. And then hard skills would include data analytics, kung marunong kayo, research, stuff like that. Philippine government agencies that you may need to indicate, you know, civil service eligibility if you have one, yung mga licenses, for example, if you already took the licensing exam for sa PRC, with PRC, the Philippine Regulatory Commission, and then a list of references. For the references, sa CV, in the CV, you usually already include references. Okay? Okay. And then also, it does not usually require a photo. There's no one standard format, and there's different emphasis in each discipline. Okay. Okay. Now let's go to the resume. So for the resume, this summarizes what you should put there. Name and contact information, career objective for fresh graduates, and then career highlights for the experienced ones. And then so resumes are about your experiences, skills, and work history. Your resume should highlight your qualities that indicate that you are a good worker, you are qualified for the position, and bring desirable skills to the job. So if you are a student and have little or no previous job experiences, you just highlight information about your school, your extracurricular activities, or any community activities that you joined. No, you may also include, let's say, if you joined an organization in UP and you led a project, talk about that project, highlight that project, and the success that you had in that project. So those are the things you can highlight. For career highlights, it should include qualities that you want to put emphasis on, especially those relevant to the position that you're applying for. So an example is, for example, 3 years solid experience in research or project management. You attended several intensive trainings on, let's say, data analytics or programming here and abroad, things like that. Okay. And then for professional experience, this doesn't have to be chronological. So for the professional experience, for the experienced ones, you put your professional experience that is most relevant to the position you're applying for. Okay? So, and then don't just state your job description. As we said earlier, it should highlight your accomplishment in the work that you've done before. Okay, so don't just put, I am tasked to manage ganyan. No, it shouldn't be like that. You should say, I managed also, and you always start with, or your tone should be in the active voice. So start your sentences with action words. So managed a project that made the operations save an X number amount of dollars, or which reduced efficiency or attrition in the company by 5%. Mga ganon, no? Quantifiable. So highlight those. Highlight your achievements. So again, achievement-oriented, because your CV or your resume is an accomplishment report, basically. And then, so what are the common elements of a resume or a CV? So basically, you're persuading the one reading them that you are the one, no? You are the one. So do your research on the job post that you're applying for, the company that you're applying with, and people working for that company. So you need a strong professional summary statement also. And before I thought this is something na parang people know, no? It's a common knowledge. But I found out it's not. Kasi during the interviews that I've done before, I'm actually surprised because the person I'm interviewing doesn't know anything about our company. Like, as in, they don't even know what we do, so parang, you don't even know what this company is doing. Ba't ka nag-a-apply? Di ba? Ba't ka nag-a-apply? And then, wala man, they don't know anyone. Basta, wala, pati yung brand, parang, when I told them, oh, we have a branch in like this, hindi nila alam, no? Like, so, for example, I said, you live in this place? Oh, we have an office there. The candidate doesn't even know. So that tells you na, wala. Walang interest tong taong to sa kumpanya namin. So why will I waste time, 'di ba? Evaluating you in the first place. Okay, for the professional summary, your first bullet point is your elevator pitch, basically. It should contain the most relevant accomplishment you have for the job you're applying for. And then, so use this bullet to reveal your passion for the job, but always tie this passion to a tangible, relevant result. Your second bullet point, it should focus on the best technical skills that you have for the job. Which of your accomplishments best highlights the key technical skill required for the position? Okay? So your third bullet point should focus naman on the best transferable skills that that is required for the job. So again, hard and soft skills, no, ang transferable skills. Okay, especially in NGOs, no, if let's say you want to work for an NGO or an IGO, the company culture and team environment are very important, no? Okay, a company's success kasi depends on the ability of its employees to work together and achieve goals. So this bullet point is where you show that you will fit into the company culture and that you are pleasant to work with. Okay. This is just a sample summary statement for, let's say, a research scientist, forward-thinking biomedical research scientist with a strong background in cellular molecular biology. Another is an excellent team player and strong builder of prolific collaborations. No? The other one, creative and self-motivated individual with easy integration in a multicultural environment. So this is very important. For example, if you're applying for the likes of mga international research institution like ERI, kasi nga it's multicultural environment. You work with people from other countries, no? So there. So kaya that's quite important. Okay. Another common element, write results-oriented bullet points, not descriptions of your duties, as I mentioned earlier. And then, okay, this just gives you a list of transferable skills. Okay, so there, completing and planning an entire PhD project, expert in the use of different instruments, project management, communication skills, business acumen can also be included there. Conflict resolution, negotiation, no, are some of those. And then, okay, here, sandwich her technical skills between a transferable skill and the result. Okay. All right. So that's how you'll do it. Excellent teamwork and collaboration skills demonstrated by managing a multifaceted biochemical research project, resulting in the development of international collaborations and $1.2 million in grant funding, things like that. So that's an example of how you will sandwich your technical skill between the transferable skill and the result of your work. Okay. Another common element is include company and position, specific keywords. In some big companies, they use artificial intelligence to actually do the initial screening for sa CVs, no, for applicants, because they get thousands and thousands. So meron na silang artificial intelligence system that sorts. And we were told that how it's designed is that parang the AI counts some keywords, and if you meet the minimum number of keywords that they're looking for, masasama yung CV mo sa initial screening nung AI program na yon. Yes, so meron ng ganon ngayon. So that's why keywords are important. Okay? Okay, quickly, cover letter. So your cover letter, basically, what you do want to say in your cover letter, you basically want to say, you're awesome. But in a, you're awesome and you're the one. But in a very articulate and truthful manner, di ba? So, i-articulate natin siya. So, there. I'm awesome. Okay. Everyone knows resume or CV is important. It's supposed to be the perfect snapshot of your work history, positioning you as an ideal candidate for the next gig. But what about a cover letter? What does it do? So it can be tempting to just write up a genetic cover letter, for all the jobs you're applying for, especially if there are similar positions. Change just a few details like the name of the person you're writing to, change the company name. So, pinapalit-palitan nyo na lang because you already have the template. And voila, parang yun na yun, no? No, it's not like that. So, before you write your letter, what I mentioned earlier, research, do your research. LinkedIn is a good tool to see whether you have someone in that company that you can interview. So look for a contact at the company, ask that contact for an introduction, and maybe, I mentioned earlier that you might also want to know who's the boss, diba? Kasi that's quite important because we also learned that one of the top reasons why people leave their jobs is their boss. They have a difficulty working with their boss, no? So that's probably something that you also wanna know about. Okay, and then ask that contact for an informational interview, okay? All right. Or and if you also joined organizations in your school, no? Tingnan nyo, parang nasaan na ba yung mga orgmates nyo, di ba? Because nothing beats first-hand information. Okay? So, good cover letters. A good cover letter is personalized, it's customized, and it's error-free. Okay, it's error-free, and it is compelling. It's compelling the reader that you can actually help achieve the company goals. And then craft the letter to show them the value you bring to the organization. Okay, so make it personal, like the hiring person. So this is actually much easier in the modern age because you can use LinkedIn, no, to search who that person is, who to write to. Often to find the specific hiring manager for the position, and then use the name. Don't use dear sir, dear madam. Don't do that. No. Look at their career arc and mention one commonality between theirs and yours, and then mention one skill or concept you think you could learn from them. Parang, why are you applying? What do you think you will get from working with them also? And then convince the reader that you can help achieve their goals. Your purpose is to land the job. So you need to convince the reader of your letter that you can help them accomplish their goals. So craft the letter to show them the value you bring to them and what you've done in the past, no, as an evidence. So you're not just saying, magaling ako. Anong evidence mo? Bakit ka magaling? Di ba? Mahirap yon, yung kiniklaim mo lang na magaling ka, na graduate ka ng laude, ng school. Tapos, di ba, mga ganong claims, di ba? So, nag-misrepresent ka na noon, di ba? Marami tayong alam na ganyan. No? Oo, marami tayong alam na ganyan. So, okay. Yeah. Okay. Hello. Okay. So there. Ganon, no? Okay. Let's go to the next. Okay. So 3 ways to send a cover letter. So type it in the body of your email. So doon na mismo sa email, or you can send this as a separate attachment, and then or integrate it na lang. You can also integrate it in your CV. Okay? And one important thing, follow instructions, because there are job postings that give specific instructions. So follow that. Importante yon. Okay? So for the cover letter, so you have 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph is basically address it to the actual person you're writing to, and it should just summarize the strengths, your achievements that you think is very relevant to the position you're applying for. And then your subsequent paragraph should reference concrete examples. So this should substantiate your claim in your first paragraph. And then the final paragraph should express a strong interest in meeting, or you can, in your third paragraph, you can actually state here that you are open to exploratory talk, meeting to explore. Okay. Okay. Quickly. So for interview, well, I'll just quickly run through this. So when we're done with that and you're now scheduled for an interview, so ito yon. Actually, again, akala namin this is quite basic and given, no? But we found out in our several interviews it's not, because there are people showing up wearing inappropriate clothes, dirty shoes, dirty nails, hair that looks like they just woke up, got up from their beds. It happens. It does. So, kaya nilagay pa rin namin siya dyan. So, dress for the job. Bring extra copies of your resume, because sometimes, for some reason, they ask for a printout. So print it out in a nice paper. Make sure that whatever you put in your resume, you can explain or expound further during the interview. And then, so bring, and this is also, akala ko rin given na to. But some interviewees don't bring a paper and a pen in their interviews. And then know the interviewer's name and the right spelling and how to correctly pronounce their names when addressing them. And then anticipate questions and be ready with your answers. Okay, be prepared for personal questions. Some interviewers are not aware of some laws of what they can and they cannot ask. And be prepared to just answer politely without, so pwede kasing ma-offend ka, but be prepared to answer without losing your composure in case you get asked something that you find offending. Okay? And then, a lot of interviewees also, when asked if they have questions, they always say no. And that is wrong. That is a wrong answer. Because saying no, not asking questions, that means you are not very interested. Yun yung dating nun sa interviewer. Hindi ka nagtatanong, parang hindi ka masyadong interesado. And then, practice good nonverbal communication. And then also, if you're nervous, very nervous, try to see what works for you, what calms you during the interview. What things you can do to calm you. Know that and do that before the interview. And then, of course, be on time. Okay. And on being on time, if in case you encounter unexpected circumstance along the way. Kunwari, nagkaroon ng, there was an accident and it caused you delays, like significant delay. You won't be able to make it to your interview. Call the interviewer to inform them. because a lot of companies will be willing to reschedule you for an interview. Okay, don't assume that wala na, you missed it. Okay? And then, follow up with a thank you note. Okay, ito, not a lot of people do this. Okay? And I'm telling you, this makes a lot of difference. Kasi dahil nga hindi maraming gumagawa niyan. So, this will give you an advantage over the others. Kasi this is usually taken for granted. So, mas matatandaan ka if you actually send the interviewer a thank you note. So, yon. That's all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Miss Pinky, for that very informative CV and resume writing tips refresher. We sure are learned a lot from your talk. All right. Wait lang. Excuse me. Sorry. One moment. All right. To proceed, our third speaker graduated with a bachelor's degree in psychology in 2014 at LPU Manila and received her postgraduate diploma in business administration in De La Salle University, Dasmariñas in 2019. From over 8 years of being in HR, she spent most of her career working with universities and colleges nationwide for academic and industry partnerships. Right now, she is currently the entity lead for corporate functions and strategy consulting for HR Campus Strategic Sourcing Team at Accenture Philippines. Let's welcome Ms. Agustina Agot C. Reyes.
Hello, good afternoon, and thanks for that wonderful introduction. So good afternoon, everyone, to the students who are there physically and those who are currently here at Zoom. So thanks for inviting Accenture as well. So I think this will be the first time for us to also partner with UPOU on an event. So thanks for that. So now that we were able to learn something about what companies are looking for, as well as some of the tips, interview tips and resume writing tips, it's time for us to now be more informed on what the companies are actually looking for. Okay, so sige, Cherry, can share the slide or maximize the slide. All right, sige. So when you graduated in college, your next immediate concern is on how to succeed in your career. And most of you who are currently here, if not all, are postgraduates already, or at least are currently completing your required academic units. And at this time, ito yung time na you're very much eager and courageous to start a new career opportunity. And it's currently at its peak right now. So ito yung time where you go to your LinkedIn to update your profile, go into JobStreet to explore some of the career opportunities, because you, of course, want something that will compensate you better, and of course, a company that would be able to also support you and invest in you, for you to be successful in your career. So for this specific time, I'll give you more information about what the current industry needs are, as well as the trends in IT BPO companies. And I will share with you some of the information on what we currently do and what we're looking for here at Accenture in the Philippines. Ayan. So I hope most of you are already familiar about who Accenture is. I hope you encountered Accenture one time or another in the past, And I hope you'd also, or it will also pique your interest to apply or check some of the open opportunities that we have here in Accenture. Sorry, I think the PowerPoint went down. Okay. There. Okay. Sige. So just to start, I'll provide you a brief background about who Accenture is first. So as you can see there on the screen, Accenture is a global professional services company with leading capabilities in digital, cloud, and security. We're one of the biggest and fastest growing IT BPO or BPM companies here in the Philippines. And as of this moment, we have capabilities with over 40 different industries. That's a lot. So globally, we have over 710,000 people who are working with different clients, of course, across different locations in 120 different countries. And a huge chunk of this is coming here in the Philippines, wherein we have 70,000 employees working locally. Sige, so to give you more background about each of the leads or towers that we have here in Accenture, can proceed to the next slide. Ayan, so we have 4 specific towers or entities here in Accenture. And Accenture in the Philippines leads the way, no? Again, as mentioned, as one of the biggest and fastest growing IT BPO companies here in the Philippines. So through our advanced technology centers and intelligent operation centers, which we also call IO, and our new service offering, which is strategy and consulting, we bring the perfect mix of technology and business process expertise and industry knowledge to help our clients solve the most complex challenges in their organization. So to dig deeper into that, you can proceed to the next slide. For technology, this is where we power digital transformation at speed and at scale. So Accenture is more known to be an IT company now compared to other services. And that is because we have a lot of capabilities and possible opportunities, no? A lot of potential within the technology industry. So under technology, we have 3 major industry services. The first one is intelligent platform services. Okay. So for those who graduated with a tech course in the past, or maybe who took up a postgraduate in technology, this might be something that is aligned with your aspirations. So for ITS, this is where we help client in future-focused platforms based on SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, Salesforce, and Workday. And I know you're familiar with most of those key terms, no? For the second one, we have for intelligent software engineering services. So for this one, this is where we cover the complete life cycle of technology services. This also includes custom application engineering, architecture, enterprise IT transformation, the famous AI, of course, and automation, data engineering, testing automation, and others. So on this specific function under ATCP or Accenture Technology Center in the Philippines, we also have other capabilities such as custom apps, technology architecture, enterprise transformation, cloud, blockchain, quality engineering, and there's actually a lot more on that. For the last one, we have for ATCP, we have for intelligent cloud and infrastructure services. This is where we have for opportunities under service desk, workplace, cloud, data center, and network. Okay, so next, going into Accenture operations, no, and I think most of the people here are business course students as well. So for intelligent operations, next slide. This is where we help client in reinventing business operations. So if you're a business course graduate or student, this might be something that would be very interesting for you. And this is where we reinvent, again, business operations through industrialized business process expertise, technology, applied intelligence, and data. All right, sorry, I'm not sure if the screen is moving. Cherry, can you move to the ops slide? All right, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Can we confirm what slide are you seeing right now? Is it technology or operations?
Hi, ma'am. We are on the technology side, powering digital transportation.
Okay, thanks for confirming. Yeah, Cherry, if you can move into the next slide.
Hi, actually, in my view, it's under operations now, but I'll try to reshare my screen. Apologies for the delay.
No worries. Thank you so much, Cherry. Okay. So as mentioned earlier, no, so for operations, that is more on the business side of Accenture. That's where our business process outsourcing happens. So for or under operations, we have several industry services and functions as well.
Hi, can you hear me?
No, not yet. All right, so I'll try to share my screen, Cherry. Thank you. Share
All right,
screen.
thanks.
Okay. For a while. Apologies for that. Sige, wait lang. Let me just reshare. Okay. There. So I hope you're seeing my screen already there. I'm just having internet connectivity issues now, but I hope you'd be able to see it clearly. So again, going back for operations, this is where we elevate business decisions with intelligent operations as mentioned. So under operations, we have two major industry services. The first one is cross-industry services. This is where we have our finance and accounting. We also call it F&A, where we hire actual accountants, some CPAs or other business course students, to perform actual accounting transactions. Okay, and we also do financial analysis and planning with our clients. On top of that, we also have for talent and HR, where we help some of our clients in talent management, talent building, on some HR services, for example, as well, like US benefits or in contingent worker processes or requests. Third, under that is we have for procurement. So as you know, for procurement, we also help our clients in making sure that we have the right tools and engines to procure and look for possible vendors for any request. And then fourth, we have for marketing. And lastly, we also have for customer service, which is the call center part of Accenture, which is relatively smaller than the other industries. For the second part, under operations, we have for industry-specific services. So under this, we have for health. And Accenture being an IT BPO company, it might surprise some of the audience here or some of the people externally that we're actually hiring for nurses, for USRNs and PHRNs. And that is because we have a lot of clients who are in the health industry. So for registered nurses, for example, they're also helping us out and being deployed to clients who are interested to have improvements on their processes as well, like in hospitals, for example, in the medical field. So that is something that we also are also growing right now. Under this, we also have for network utilities, which are both for tech course students and other courses as well. We have for insurance, and lastly, we have also for software and platform. So it's very broad, so there's a lot of opportunities possible for you. And that's only two of our entities. We'll be discussing two more. So next, we have for corporate functions. This is where we support and enable teams across Accenture to deliver 360-degree value. So yung corp functions is more of the backbone of Accenture as a business. This is not client-facing compared to the other three. This is more of an internal role for you, again, in support of the businesses that we're running here in the Philippines. So under corporate functions, we have openings or open positions for business operations, where you will, of course, help our business and management in making sure that we're running the business flawlessly and effectively. We have for marketing and communications, wherein we're doing recruitment marketing, wherein we plan on some of the external communication tools and platforms. This is where they do the Facebook postings or those postings we do or we give out to the campuses or universities. We have geographic services, those who are responsible for making sure that we're aligned with the law as well, and processes, streamlining of the processes that we have here in the Philippines, and making sure that it is aligned with the value that is being delivered in our global setup. Of course, we have for human resources, where we have talent strategy, talent fulfillment roles, for compensation and benefits. It was mentioned earlier as well by the previous speaker. Recruitment, of course, a huge part of it. And people advisors to help our employees upskill and also understand and be the mediator between the business and the employees. Next, we also have for legal. So we're also hiring for legal associates, lawyers, of course, to help the business run its course. We have for finance, risk management and quality. And then lastly, we also have for sales and pricing performance, which is, of course, very important to run a business this big, since, as mentioned earlier, it's a very huge organization, and we're, of course, looking forward into growing it more in the coming years. Lastly, but of course not the least, I'm very excited to share this with you because this is what I'm actually handling right now. For strategy and consulting, this is where we reinvent business transformation to deliver sustainable stakeholder value. This is actually the start of everything. We're known again as an IT BPO company. We just recently launched our consulting entity here in the Philippines. Actually, less than a year. So we just started this last March, no, and it's an expansion of our sites in India and Argentina. So under strategy and consulting, we're hiring mostly postgraduate students, and I hope you'd also be interested to be a part of SNC soon. So under strategy and consulting, we have several towers as well. We have for communications, media, and technology. We have for intelligent consulting hub, which is where most of our open opportunities are right now. We have wealth platform services. And then lastly, we have for applied intelligence or AI scout. So of course, for most of our consultants here, this is an individual contributor role. You'll be assigned to of course get clients as well, no, to support our businesses in technology and in operations. So this is we're currently at its birth phase, no, and hoping to have or increase this in the coming years. Right now, we have over 3,600 consultants globally, and again, as part of the expansion of our previous sites, we're doing it now for Manila and in Kuala Lumpur as well. So next, just to show you, no, and just for your appreciation, sharing with you some of the recognitions and awards that we were able to receive in the past years. We ranked third as the best workplaces in the Philippines in 2022 by Great Place to Work. We're also Asia's best workplace. We also received Asia's best workplace award by ACES or Asia Corporate Excellence and Sustainability Awards in 2019. We ranked third as the most attractive employer by technology professionals by Universum, which is a survey for all of the technology professionals out there. We're a very inclusive and diverse workplace, so we also receive an award on that by UN Women Empowerment Principal or WEP Awards in 2021. Investment in People Award because we've been investing a lot on the development of our employees. Sustainability, and lastly, Global Technology Innovation Contest. Because once you start here at Accenture, there's no hindrance, no, if you would like to also join external events. We're actually also supporting you and encouraging you to also do a lot of innovation, may it be for a streamlining of a process within Accenture or something that you may also use for an external use. Also, our people continue to be our ultimate differentiator, and we, as mentioned, we invest a lot for our people, no? So that's the reason why we create a lot of engagement opportunities for our employees. So specifically during the pandemic, we invested a lot on other activities outside of work, just to make sure that our people are still mentally and physically well. No, that's very important at this time that most of us are still working from home. No? So on top of that, we also have different health and wellness initiatives on top of the recent initiatives for COVID. We're a very inclusive, as mentioned, and diverse workplace. And we have equal opportunities for everyone. Not only for gender equality, we also provide opportunities for PWDs. So we're hiring people who have difficulty in the sense of sight, hearing, and mobility. Right now, we're at our highest for internship for deaf interns, and hoping to also grow the offering for other disabilities, no, as mentioned, maybe difficulty in the sense of sight or mobility. So we have a separate or a different sustainability or center for those with these disabilities to, of course, help them be more efficient and productive in the way they do their jobs. Ayan. So we also have different collaborative activities, learning opportunities, of course. So we have a separate learning platform specifically built by Accenture to help our clients or to help our employees as well in upskilling themselves. No, because of course you have to own your development as well. So we have a platform specific for that. And then lastly, we also have for corporate citizenship. This is more of like the corporate social responsibility for other companies out there now. So we also do that. And we've been supporting some of our partner schools, communities, or environmental organizations. No? So we're supporting those. And we're very proud to say that as of this time, we have 54% women in the workforce. We have 35 percent of our employees who are LGBTIQ plus allies, and we have 3% self-declared persons with disabilities. And if you're familiar sa government, no, the requirement is only for us to hire 1% PWDs. But we're continuously trying to go above that, and hopefully we'd be able to reach 4 to 5% by next year. So that's our goal. So right now, organizations are experiencing workforce disruption at an unprecedented scale at speed. CEOs and business owners have been continually trying to go beyond the current challenges being faced because of the COVID pandemic now. And of course, as CEOs and business owners as well, they're also trying to make sure that the employees are continually engaged and are working still well, efficiently, effectively, and of course, they are mentally secured, no, and physically secured. So there are also some of the challenges that we're trying to face, of course, specifically in the economy of the Philippines, no. But what's good is that in an IT BPM setting or IT BPO setting, we went beyond that, and we're continually growing despite all of those challenges. We did not stop hiring for people. We did not do anything, or we did not remove any of our benefits for our employees because of the pandemic. We actually increased it more, of course, for our employees. So sharing with you a survey, no, a Future of Jobs survey in 2018 by the World Economic Forum, where it shared the top 10 skills that will be needed for this year, the current year. So as you can see there, for number 1, we have for analytical thinking and innovation. We have for active learning and learning strategies, creativity, originality, and initiative, technology design and programming. And lastly, for the top 5, we have for critical thinking and skills. So for 6 to 10, we have for complex problem solving, leadership and social influence, emotional intelligence, reasoning, problem solving, and ideation. And then lastly, we have for systems, analysis, and evaluation. So what do you observe, no, from the top 10? When I was reading this slide, I noticed that these are not hard technology skills. These are more of a behavioral or a skill, innate skill for everyone. So I hope that's something that you also try to recognize, no? So most of the companies right now are not actually looking for a hard technology skill, specifically if you're trying to shift careers now that you're a postgraduate already, or for those who might just be interested to venture into another role. So at this time, it's more we're encouraging you to be more of a doer and thinker, no, rather than a follower. So it's very important right now, specifically most of the companies in the IT BPO setting are doing work from home. So you'll not be supervised by your manager time after time. Some of the companies as well, no, they're open to changing your shift as long as they're able to deliver what is expected of you. So hindi na siya katulad nung dati, the traditional way wherein you'll go to the office, you'll be supervised by your manager for every task that you're trying to continue or to deliver. So now we have more freedom already, more opportunities as well, of course, to do things the way you want to do it and how you think you'd be able to do it more efficiently. So that's very important. And I hope that once you try to explore opportunities out there, you'd also consider some of the non-compensation and benefits related na benefits, no? I hope you look for a company who would also help you again thrive and be more successful in whatever path you're trying or you're hoping to make. So That's it for me. So if you'd like to learn more about us, please visit our site. That's accenture.com/page students. And then here are some of our social media channels as well. So that's it. Again, thank you so much. And thank you for the organizers as well.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Agot Reyes, for giving us a glimpse of the BEPO industry as well as skills needed in this age. To introduce our fourth and last speaker, he is a 17-year IT BPO professional with experiences in operations, client services, talent development, organizational development, quality, training, delivery, and talent sourcing. An advocate of diversity, equity, and inclusion, particularly increasing employability of potentially marginalized sectors in the IT BPM sector, such as persons with disabilities and senior citizens. Let us give a warm round of applause to our fourth speaker, Mr. Arnold Pagulayan.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone can see and hear me well. So first of all, I'd like to thank the Faculty of Management and Development Studies through Dr. Serrano, of course, for inviting us. I won't go through all of the slides because I only have a couple of minutes left. And I think my peer in Accenture has done a great job really framing the ITBM industry well. So I'd like to probably jump to slide 4. Just to give a very quick context of the different subsectors of the IT BPMs, you would have a broader view of what we cover. So when we talk about IT BPM, essentially there are 6 subsectors: IT and software services, animation, contact centers, health information management, game development, and global in-house centers. So the IT BPM sector, based at least on the 2028 roadmap, is poised to create still millions of jobs through these subsectors. And from a revenue standpoint, we are poised to be a $56 billion industry. So regardless of whether you join, Accenture or Concentrix or any of the companies within the IT BPM sector, it is essentially helping fuel the economy and move Philippines forward. So I'll focus perhaps on contact centers, since that is the main business of Concentrix Philippines. So jump to slide 12, just to focus on Concentrix Philippines. Thank you. So from a headcount standpoint, based on a recent article just this year from Manila Bulletin, Concentrix actually is the largest IT BPM company in terms of headcount in the country. It says here we are already at 90,000, but we've just ended the fiscal year at 110,000 employees. So you can just imagine how tiring folks in talent acquisition or recruitment, just like myself, have been for the past year. On the next slide, you'll essentially see our global footprint. We maintain 280,000 employees across 40 countries, and we are essentially in the business of providing different innovative solutions to about 750 clients. So what this essentially means is if someone partners with Concentrix, or if you become part of Concentrix, you will be assured that you are also with a stable company that will take care of not just your needs, but of course your family's needs as well. On the next slide, I'll zoom into Concentrix in the Philippines, because this is where a huge majority of our employees are. Like what I mentioned earlier, we are already 110,000 strong, and we have 50 physical sites, not 49, but 50, which is opened, one in Iloilo, across the Philippines. And we offer both on-site and work at home or work anywhere options. On the next slide, and this is something that I am particularly proud of, because it shows you who Concentrix is in a nutshell. If there's anything that you would remember about Concentrix, it's trying to do right by its people, whether we're talking about clients, our customers, our staff, and even the communities that we directly support. And our promise is built on three pillars: community, career, and cause. So under community, we are also increasing our capacity to accommodate and employ as many categories of talents with abilities. Our humble ambition is to also increase our PWD employee footprint. Currently, our self-declared is at 677. We aspire to add more to that, around 2% by 2025. In terms of career, we are a strong advocate of internal promotions. And one way to do that is through self-development. And this is a particular benefit that I have personally availed multiple times in my 17 years with the organization. We have an education assistance program where essentially it's a reimbursement program. So whether you want to finish your bachelor's degree or your postgraduate degree, you can enroll yourself on AP. And then lastly, on costs, so we are aware of our national footprint. So we would always want to give back to the communities we support. We have different programs that would enable our employees to give either time or financial support to certain communities. So an example of that is You on the Rise. It's a very specific campaign that supported communities with a livelihood of persons with disabilities. So we have partners in Quezon City. We also have Indigenous peoples partners in Mindanao, and then digital literacy of senior citizens. Now on the next slide, I did mention earlier that we are mostly known for our contact center or customer care stream of business. But if you look at the end-to-end services that we provide, we actually have 9. But I'll be focusing just on 2, customer management and data analytics, simply to illustrate how career progression is possible within basic to mid and high level skills. So the next 4 slides actually would describe also the skill requirements and the demand of basic customer care work, and then to be followed by the more complex data analytics. So yes, let's pause on that slide. Thank you. So in Concentrix, there is still a growing need for, let's back up a bit. Just one slide. Slide 18, please. Thank you. Slide 18, the slide before that. Thank you. There you go. Thank you. So in Concentrix, there is still a growing need for customer care work, as evidenced by our comparative demand trends from 2019 to 2022. So as you can see on this slide, even on our lowest, which obviously is during the pandemic, and I'm sure a lot of companies, and a lot of industries also experience the same slump. We still had a demand of 55,000 jobs, and we kept hiring and hiring, and even to support our forecasted recovery in 2021. So we knew that we would be recovering in 2021. And if you also look at our demand for 2022, there's a surge of demand. Our job openings jumped from 65,000 to 87,000 this year as we took in new clients and supported expansions of existing clients and also talent movements. On the next slide, this just simply outlines the minimum hiring requirements of most customer care work openings, and we are actually proudly opening our doors to high school students, senior high school graduates who are able to, of course, meet the minimum language, computer, and other client assessment skill requirements. The next slide is a description of the basic tasks of a customer care representative, as well as the client industries that are typically open to hiring, even the basic senior high school to high school graduate level. What I want to emphasize on this slide is even the basic customer care work would require a solid foundation on soft and basic computer skills. So let's not also underestimate the requirements of basic customer care work because it is tough. So resolving a concern within a targeted period, as well as selling, not only requires product expertise, but a whole lot of emotional work on the side of representatives. They have to be able to navigate each conversation with the right amount of rapport and product expertise just to be able to accomplish the task. This they have to do while discerning if their actions are within the scope defined by the client's guidelines. And on the flip side, on the other hand, documenting an interaction while almost simultaneously speaking to a customer requires a certain level of typing speed and accuracy that is often challenging for a number of applicants, especially without experience in the industry. Now, on the next slide, now this would illustrate to you the typical career progression from an agent role to positions that require high levels of specialization, autonomy, and decision making. So a customer agent can progress vertically within operations. So say as a subject matter expert of a certain product and service, after which he or she can progress to lead larger teams with clusters of teams or businesses. Of course, as talents move up the ladder, higher order skills such as leadership and even teamwork and communication become an everyday reality. A talent can also choose to move laterally to support units which require more specialized skill sets, ranging from workforce management to finance. But just a quick disclaimer, being part of operations, whether you're an agent or management, is not a requirement for people to move into specialized roles. Going through customer care operations, however, provides that fundamental understanding of our bottom lines. At the end of the day, what we're after for would be to provide superior customer and employee experience. Now, on the next slide, actually, the last slides would describe the basic skill requirements and career progression mapping within our global analytics and analytics technology workstream. So this workstream comparably requires more specialized education and training for our talents to succeed. On the next slide, so right off the bat, compared to our customer care level positions, the basic education requirements for this particular department would typically include a 4-year college degree in information tech, computer science, mathematics, stat, market research, social sciences, and data analytics. The next slide now would illustrate the ideal career progression within the analytics group. And of course, with a reflection on our basic qualifications versus value-adding qualifications. So talents would typically enter the department as consultants and progress as senior consultants until usually a senior manager role. And if you notice, in any of the roles, communication, like at the bottom, communication, especially in English, is a basic expectation. As these roles would involve interacting with clients and internal departments. Now, right off the gate, a talent who wishes to be part of the data analytics team must have experiences in business process improvement and soft skills, which in this case is termed as quote and unquote strong client orientation. The soft skills requirement expands to leadership as one progresses to manage people. Now, on the right side would be your value adding qualifications, or in other words, an advantage during the application process. This would typically include specific experiences in contact center or customer experience data analysis, Six Sigma certification in speech and AI tools. Now, these value-adding qualifications can be considered as a combination now of industry-specific subject matter expertise and new generation IT skills. Customer analytics is just one of the many growing streams outside of customer management that we are trying to cultivate here in the Philippines. Software support and development is also an upcoming work stream, which usually is outsourced in other geos like India. On the next slide, these are just the immediate openings for mid to high level requirements within our IT operations, automation, and global analytics team. So if you are ready now, you can actually submit your resumes directly. So if you've listened to our esteemed speakers earlier, if you've listened to how to better prepare for your resume and also your interview, we're just one click away. So just email your resume directly to grow.ije@concentrix.com. Just follow the specific format, just the name of the job family, your name, and then the specific position. And then on the next slide, if you still want to explore, more careers in Concentrix, not just in the Philippines, but other geos, you may also visit concentrix.com/career. So hopefully, through this presentation, we have built more awareness and hopefully increased appetite for stellar talents, just like yourself. I'm also an alumni of UTOU. I'm a graduate of FICS. So hopefully, you grow and find a home with any of the sectors in the IT BPM industry. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Gulayan, for sharing with us a glimpse of Concentrix empowering and inclusive services, as well as the very helpful recent hiring trends. All right, we are now starting our Q&A. We are now opening the floor for questions and consultations. May we again invite our speakers to come in front for the Q&A, as well as the third and fourth speakers via Zoom. Were everyone able to receive the white paper? Have you already written down your questions? All right. I have a question to ask to you. All right. How would you be able to know your strengths po?
I think at this age, you know what your interests are, where your interests lie. You start with that, right? Write a list of people that you admire, right? Because the people that you admire, obviously, do nag-align yung values mo. So you most probably have those values as well, all right? And if you're really clueless, you can ask your friends. You can ask your, family, people close to you. But for most people, apparent na yun eh. So whatever you're good at, whatever your interests are, very, very, those are clues to find out what your strengths are.
In addition to that, usually the things that you're passionate about and when you feel confident doing them, that brings out your strength. You are in your element when you're doing something that you like or you love doing. Diba? You're more confident doing them. So, and that will bring out the best in you. So basically that. And yeah, I agree with Irma. You can ask just to affirm. Sometimes kasi we think parang I think this is my strength. Pero minsan parang iniisip mo baka ako lang yun. baka feeling ko lang yun. So minsan gusto mo ng affirmation. Then yeah, ask your friends. Do you think I'm a good writer? Do you think I'm good in analyzing things? Things like that. So don't be afraid to ask.
All right. Thank you for answering, Ms. Irma and Ms. Pinky. Our Zoom participants may also type in your queries in the chat box, while our face-to-face participants, you may want to write their questions on the white paper. All right. Do we have questions with with our from our Zoom participants? Okay. Okay. All right. Let me check my. Okay, question number 1. From Mr. Inigo Espeleta. How does one transition from the public sector to the private sector? I find it difficult to apply to jobs in the private sector because majority of my experience comes from the public sector. Yes. All right. Maybe Sir Al and Miss Agot can answer.
Let me try to take a first stab. I think we have to have a latent mindset whenever we try to transfer industries or sectors. Myself, for example, I came from the academe 17 years ago prior to joining the IT BPM industry. But my mindset was whether I'd be transferring to a private entity, I know that I'd still end up teaching or speaking to a group of people. So that I led with that. You know, I knew my core skills and my core strengths very well, and that allowed me to navigate the industry internally. Plus, if you already have certain certifications and experiences in the public sector, don't discount that, because there will definitely be alignments in the requirements and skills that we also are looking for in the private sector.
Yeah, so just to add up on that, no. So thanks for the question, Inigo. Yeah, actually, to be very transparent, it might be hard for some people to transfer and shift careers. But I think what you should do is to look for companies who are actually supporting career shifters. So that's one thing, because of course it will be hard if your previous experience is completely different to the role that you're applying for. So look for companies who would be also interested and would encourage you to accept a new role and shift careers, no, for you to also learn and of course grow and develop yourself professionally.
Thank you for answering, Sir Al and Miss Agot. Any other questions from our Zoom participants and from our... All right. Our speakers, you might want to add something.
For me, I think regardless of industry, there are, transferable skills parate. Regardless whether you're working for government or the private sector, there are always skills that both any industry will, for example, leadership, management, and probably most people now are computer savvy, stuff like that. So look for, if you're from the public sector and you want to join the private sector, look for companies that are actually looking for some, you will be surprised. So some private companies would actually value some government connections. Yeah, there are private companies that would actually look to hire people from the public sector because they want, they value the network that person will probably has, because yun nga, his work for the government. So things like that. So meron. So yun, ano naman yan, marami tayong skills na kahit anong industry maa-apply mo sa kahit anong industry. So don't be afraid. And sometimes kasi we're also afraid to get out of our comfort zone, no? So feeling natin, ay baka hindi ako magka-qualify. Dun minsan tayo na yung dahilan ba't hindi natin pino-pursue. Kasi tayo mismo wala tayo ng kumpiyansa na mag-apply kasi feeling mo baka hindi, baka ganon. So get out of your comfort zone. Just go for it, no? And then When you see the job posting, you'll see the qualifications they're looking for. I'm sure, you'll find something there sa'yo, in you, that will actually be useful for that company. That's all.
Thank you for answering our question. We have a question here from Zoom. The "it's not what you know but whom you know" practice happens in the job market. Any advice for job applicants who may experience this? Miss Irma.
Also called nepotism, right? Yes, while that is, that really happens, you can still stand out, right? Don't forget to list your achievements between someone who knows someone, and then if your resume CV stands out because you've listed all the projects you achieved, completed, that's why you really need to do your homework first before coming up with it, because that's what you're coming up against, right? Competition. But trust me, between there can only be so many referrals, but if a recruiter discovers a CV that really stands out, I can assure you that has a lot of merit. So don't be scared. So long as it's there and you stand out, may.
It's important to know the culture, Go ahead. That's why it's important to do your research on the culture of the company. Kasi, while it is true that some opportunities would have that kind of practice, that they value they're very merong parochial, tatawag na very parochial, yun, mga kamag-anak, kilala. I know a lot of companies that are very meritocratic in their evaluation of candidates. They have a very meritocratic culture. So it's really performance qualification based talaga yung basis nila for hiring people. Marami yon. Feeling ko mas marami nga yun eh. Especially sa private sector. Oo. Kasi if I'm the boss, if I will hire someone who's not qualified, and clearly there's a candidate that is really more qualified than someone I know, I will not hire the person I know. It's because that will affect the performance of my my department. Sino din mahihirapan noon at the end of the day, 'di ba? Ako rin, 'di ba? So really from experience, a lot of companies are actually still like that. Not who you know.
All right po. Our Zoom speakers may want to add, Sir Al and Miss Agot.
Yeah. Actually, I'd like to reframe that a bit, because the phrase "it's who you know," can be viewed as relationship management. It really won't hurt for you to build your network to get your applications noticed. But at least in the private sector, in Concentrix, for example, there are mechanisms or checks and balances to make sure that we remain objective as much as possible and meritocratic in the process. So for classic example is our frontline work. We have a lot of automated assessments already, so you can't apply nepotism there, because it's really a series of objective assessments. For higher order skills, we typically require demonstrations, which would make sure that you are really a subject matter expert for the role you are applying for. So to the point earlier, yes, it exists. I think we should learn how to embrace and take advantage of that, but also look at the brighter side. There are checks and balances in the process to make the application process, again, increasingly objective and meritocratic.
Yeah, I agree to both of their answers. No, I think for huge organizations specifically, that doesn't usually happen a lot because we follow a specific and a strict recruitment process. So that's actually also an audit finding if ever there's something that is happening like that, no. But to be very transparent, no, and be very proud of it, no, that doesn't usually happen on most of the huge organizations that I know. Maybe on much smaller sectors, maybe that happens, no, but not usually for other organizations.
All right. Thank you for answering, speakers. We have a question here from our participants. With the ongoing crisis that our country is facing, the demand for high-paid job is high due to inflation. Is it better to settle for a job that is piquing your interest but gives you a low-paying rate, or apply for a job that is paying enough but doesn't interest you enough just for the sake of living? And how can you help them apply, if ever? Any of the speaker?
What was the choice again? Sorry.
Okay. So, with the ongoing crisis that our country is facing, is it better to settle for a job that is piquing your interest but gives you a low paying rate, or apply for a job that is paying enough but doesn't interest you enough just for the sake of living? And how can you help them apply, if ever?
Don't settle. That's my answer. Know your worth. You know, if listen to your intuition, you're already torn, no? Because it's like you feel this is coming from a place of shortage, right? Actually, there's no shortage of jobs. Did you hear the two speakers over Zoom? The Zoom speakers, right? Actually, they have a lot of openings. So there's a lot, trust me. I know wherever you are, maybe you know, you're checking the same job ads communities, right? You need to expand and network, right? There are lots of jobs every day, trust me. So don't settle. Know your worth. Know your worth. Thank you.
Yeah. Know your non-negotiables. And try to strike a balance between those non-negotiables. Now, for example, as I said, you have to also you have to be realistic to like, how much do you need? How much do you need to survive? Diba? So can you actually compromise or lower your standard of living to get a job that is a bit, you know, which gives a lower pay because you enjoy it more. So really, it boils down to what do you value more, diba? In case you find yourself in that situation, you're just choosing between two offers and one pays more than the other, but you'll enjoy doing the other one, except that it gives lower pay, no? So yon. What is more important to you at that point in your life?
Sorry,
What
habit ko.
interests you, or you're maintaining your standard of living?
Sanity and sanity.
And sanity.
If it boils down to that, I would choose personally. I would choose, probably recommend you as well, to choose the one that you enjoy doing, because when the going gets tough, you will definitely give up. And it's so important that you're just not trying to land a job. You know, it's one thing to get a job offer. It's another thing to survive and thrive and succeed in the role, right? And that's what you want. You want to thrive and succeed in a role that you enjoy. If you don't enjoy it, and then, you know, the environment becomes toxic, right? The pressure becomes too much, you won't stay. And it's a shame kasi sayang lang yung effort, both sides. I just heard from someone, they applied 56 applications. And on the 57, that's when they got hired. So persevere, but also, know what's more important for you. And I think we both agree, your sanity, baka abonado ka pa. Right?
All right. Our speakers from Zoom, you may want to add.
I definitely agree with our two speakers on site. Knowing non-negotiables and also mental health is a priority. At the same time, I think we have to keep a lifelong learning mindset. If you technically don't want your current job that pays well, make sure that you look for things that you can learn from your current role, and then have like 1, 2, 3 steps ahead, to be able to transition to a role that you really like. Sometimes we have to make do of the circumstances that are in front of us, and it's just our mindset at certain times that need realignment. So
Yeah, I also agree. No, if it's an option between or a choice between your interest over money, I think I'd really go for interest, because even if you're earning a lot, no, if you don't enjoy what you're doing and you don't see yourself thriving and being successful in what you're doing, you lose yourself after that. So it's important for you to know what you really want and how you want it to happen. And as mentioned earlier by the first speaker, no, there's actually a lot of openings out there. You just have to find the right one, something that will be aligned with your interests, with your moral values as well, something that would also benefit you financially and of course professionally. So that's very important.
All right, thank you. So we will be ending the Q&A session due to the lack of time. So that is the Q&A session. Thank you to our speakers for accommodating our questions. So before we close the event, may I kindly invite Dean Joanne V. Serrano in front to award the certificates of appreciation to our speakers. But before that, let me read the citation. University of the Philippines Open University, Faculty of Management and Development Studies, presents the Certificate of Appreciation as the resource speaker during the FMDS webinar on career advancement held on 13th of December at the AVR UPOU headquarters, Los Baños, Laguna. Given this 13th day, December 2022, the UP Open University of the Philippines, Los Baños. All right, Dr. Okay. Okay po, first one, Miss Irma Estidon. All right. The next is Miss Pinky Halos. The next is Mr. Alnard U. Pagulayan. All right, he is on Zoom. One moment, please. All right. Sir, apologies for the technical difficulties. Yes. May we kindly Mr. Al? One moment. All right. Okay. All right. For the photo take opportunity. Okay, sir. Kunyari po kinukuha niyo yung search. All right. And then for our last speaker, Miss Agustina Agotzi Reyes. Ma'am. Kunyari po kinukuha niyo again yung search. All right. Again, thank you to all our speakers. We hope you learned a lot today and that you find the webinar informative and helpful, gearing yourself to better working opportunities and advancing your careers. Once again, thank you to our physical registrants for attending in this event, as well as to our Zoom participants for making this event meaningful. The link for the evaluation will be now flashed on the screen. Please type in your correct email addresses. We will be emailing the certificates within 2 to 3 days after the webinar. Again, good afternoon and thank you for attending. We hope to see you again in our future events. Okay, all right, before we end the event, can everyone please open your cameras for the brief photo taking session? All right, our physical participants, can you please go in front for the photo taking session? One, two, three, smile. All right. Again, thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. We hope to see you again.